Hello everybody, sorry I'm on a different camera today because my microphone on my other camera died and it needs charging. As you've probably guessed from the title, I have been diagnosed with cancer, specifically cancer in my right eye. It's called ocular melanoma. What I want to do in this video is just talk briefly about the timeline of that diagnosis. Also, I know I've not made any videos recently, talk a bit about that, and also thinking about how my philosophy of minimalism and this cancer diagnosis align in a weird way perhaps, and what I'm thinking of doing next. So briefly, I stopped making videos on this channel for a while because I think I grew a bit disillusioned and a bit disheartened because I'd shifted my focus of my content from less about the decluttering side of minimalism and that kind of those practical things people can do, and more to the philosophical side and tips around trying to live in the here and now, making the most of the here and now, letting go of the things that really don't matter in life, like habits that aren't serving us, and trying to get to a more authentic way of living. And I knew that because my channel didn't start off that way, I was likely to see fewer views on the videos, I was likely to lose some subscribers. I realised that, but when it happened it was quite disheartening and I wondered what I should do with the direction of the channel. I felt a bit lost. Alongside this, I had worries about my health, specifically my eye, and I just withdrew all my memberships on my channel. I shut down the Patreon. I just thought I'm really feeling a bit overwhelmed with this all at the moment, so I need to just focus on my health for a bit. So in terms of the timeline, I went to a routine optician's appointment, and if you take nothing else from this video, I would say keep up with your routine optician's appointments. Make sure you get your eyes scanned. You do have to pay extra for that, but get your eyes scanned because that is why this lesion, initially as it was thought of, was picked up. So it was picked up as a lesion, and my optician said that she would write to my GP and that they would refer to my local hospital for further tests. So that was March. There were some delays, you know, NHS is struggling. There were some delays. I didn't get seen by my local hospital till October this year. In the meantime, I did go and see a private consultant, and I did have an ultrasound through him, but it really didn't give any more idea of what was going on. In between the optician's appointment and me having tests at the hospital, I started to get some symptoms. I had sort of what looked like flashes or like flowing water in my eye. And first of all, I thought it was a migraine aura because I've had those in the past. And I wasn't getting any migraines from them. I wasn't feeling rough or anything like that. So that worried me. And I didn't know whether that was just the stress of worrying about my eye. And then I would say around August time, I started to notice distortion in my sight. So not when I was like sort of driving or just walking around generally without my glasses on, because I'd started to wear reading glasses. It was when I was doing that close-up work of reading or using my computer at work or at home that things would look like bendy, and it just, yeah, it was just a bit weird. Not in my direct vision, anything I was looking at directly, but just above my central field of vision. So by the time that my appointment came through at the local hospital, I was pretty worried. I thought, well, something's wrong. Even if this isn't anything sinister, it's affecting my eyesight. So when I had my appointment at the hospital, they dilated my pupils so they could get a really good look in my eye. They took colour photos of the inside of my eye. The consultant said to me, well, you've been to see a private consultant, what was getting you worried? And so I told him about my symptoms. He said, the reason your eyesight is distorted is because there is fluid leaking from this mass. And then he showed me the pictures, the colour photos of the inside of my eye. So it showed this mass. And he said, there are some features of this that are not typical of what we would expect of a typical nevus. Namely, the shape of it, the fact that the pigmentation of it was different in sort of the middle of it, and this fluid leaking from it. He said he wanted to refer me to Moorfields Oncology Clinic. And of course, oncology means cancer, and yeah, I can't describe the feeling that came up then. Bless him, I started getting teary when I was stood in front of the computer screen and I saw these images of this mass and him explaining what was going on. The tears sort of came in my eyes, and he said, look, they've got treatments, we'll get you seen, we'll get you seen quickly. And to be fair, so I saw him on the Thursday, and then the following Monday I had a text message from Moorfields saying that my appointment had been booked for early November. So it's literally about 2 weeks after that appointment at the hospital that I went to Moorfields. I was there all day, sort of late morning till about 5 o'clock in the evening. My husband came with me, bless him, we sat there while I was going in and out for different tests. And it was later afternoon that I saw the consultant. And I just knew the way he was explaining everything, what they'd done and what they'd found, that he was leading up to telling me that it was a malignant tumour. And even though I'd expected it, because to be honest, I'd have been more surprised if I'd have walked out of there and they'd said, well, no, this isn't cancer, but it's something else. I just was convinced by what I'd been told so far. But even so, when he told me, it's different from speculating and then having it confirmed. I think for a week after that, I was in shock and I didn't really know what I felt about it, really. After being told I had a pre-op assessment, because they said you'll be coming down in December for the treatment, which is radiotherapy on the eye, not the whole body, but localised to the eye. So we'll do the pre-op assessment now and then you don't have to do it when you come in. So they did all that. So by the time we left, I think it was about 5 o'clock, and it was a bit weird, really. We went to get something to eat and I went into planning mode. I was like, okay, let me have a look at what hotels are available on that period. Let me think about what I need to bring to the hospital. It was just, I couldn't process the diagnosis, so I was going into planning mode. And I knew I was doing it. And I thought, it's just what I do. So you might be wondering, how on earth does a cancer diagnosis relate to my minimalist philosophy? Well, to be honest, in a way it's no different, because the diagnosis has sort of reinforced the real need for us to get rid of the things that don't matter in life and to focus on what does. There's so many things we get caught up in, and when I say we, I mean me as well. So many things we get caught up in life that just don't matter in the grand scale of everything. And having a cancer diagnosis it's almost like we know that we can be focusing on better things, but because maybe the fact of our mortality is quite a distant thing, we acknowledge it, but we keep it at bay. Whereas when you have a cancer diagnosis, for me, it's been like this. It's like someone is standing in front of me with a sign that is saying, you are not in control. This is what is happening. And it's like, I can't get away from it now. So it's almost like the distance nature of mortality is no longer distanced for me. It's right in front of me. And so even more so now, for me, there is a drive to really get rid of the stuff that doesn't matter and focusing on doing the meaningful things. I guess then in line with that, I feel like I would like to make videos documenting this cancer journey, which might feel a bit weird. Maybe it's a bit self-indulgent. Maybe there is an element where it will help me to talk about it. But ocular melanoma is quite rare. I think only around, I read 800 to 850 people a year in the UK are diagnosed with it. So it is rare. And treatments have got better over the years, but I think there are still hurdles. There's still a need for more awareness and, what support people can be given and the sort of treatments and surveillance that they are given. So there's a part of me that wants to help raise awareness of that and help make content that will support others who are affected, whether they are people who are diagnosed or maybe their family and friends. But also, again, with that underlying theme of it is devastating to get a diagnosis, but at the same time, I also think it can be a gift. And I do mean that, and I'm sitting here getting emotional, but I do think it can be a gift. And if we can use it, we can think of it like that, I think we can get more out of life that way. So I don't know if I'm going to make any more content for this channel, but I think I'm going to make videos. I think I'm going to start another channel about my diagnosis and following my journey and what it's like, and I'll just see how it goes. Maybe I just won't be up to making videos about it. Maybe it'll be too much, but I feel that I want to have an outlet to talk about it. Again, like I say, maybe a bit self-indulgent as a way of helping me through it and getting my thoughts out, a bit like a video diary, but also sharing with other people who might be affected, giving them a place to go where they don't feel so alone, because it does feel quite lonely at times. And guidance for family and friends, because I think when I've told people, I've had different reactions, and I recognise that some people just don't know what to say sometimes, and they try to be helpful, but often what they say is quite invalidating because it doesn't capture really what that diagnosis means for the person. And I'm not saying that's their fault, but it's just the way it is. So any maybe tips I can give for people who are supporting someone with this, maybe that would be helpful for them as well. If you want to follow what I'm going to do, I'm going to delay putting this video out until I've made some videos for that new channel. So if you want to follow my journey through this, and it won't just be, again, there will be stuff around living well with this. I don't feel, if anything, I feel for me, cancer has been or is an opportunity for me to really embrace living well and living fully in the present, because we take for granted how much time we've been gifted when really we don't know. And I really want to cover that on the channel as well, how to live well even when things get difficult. Try not to let it stop you from doing the things that you want to do. So I hope it will be a hopeful channel as well as giving a realistic view of living with this diagnosis. So yeah, like I say, if you want to follow that channel, if you want to come and follow my journey over there, I'll put a link to the channel down in the description. Like I say, I don't know whether I'll post on this channel again. It feels as though life has shifted in quite a different direction. But who knows, I will keep this channel up. People may still find the content helpful. But otherwise, I will wish you well. And I will still be practicing a minimalist philosophy. I'm not going to just start spending uncontrollably just because I think I need to buy all these things and just throw caution to the wind because of this diagnosis. I'm still going to be practicing a minimalist philosophy. That's not going anywhere. If you're interested, I hope to see you over at my other channel. Take good care of yourselves, attend your regular routine eye appointments, and I will see you soon. Bye.